Hey, are you curious about vocal diversity when it comes to singing? I got an artist for you in today's episode, Shije. She's amazing. You can't pin her down to a particular genre, but if you like the blues, if you like country, if you like rock and roll, she's the vocalist for you. She's had an amazing journey. You'll hear some tips and tricks to the music industry, how she developed her craft, how she developed the muse at an early age. Check out Shije. Hey, everybody, really excited about today's episode. It's really amazing to me, the connection between musicians, and it was my connection with Christine Santelli that brought me to Shije. I want to welcome you, Shije, to the Long Island Sound podcast.
Thank you. Thank you, Long Island Sound. I'm so happy to meet all of you. And Christine Santelli is a fabulous blues singer. And I'm known as a singer-songwriter. I do all kinds of songs. One has a very energetic horn section on it.
Right.
But for blues, Fool's Gold, which is a song I wrote that is themed about a gold digger. And it goes, fool's gold on her fingers, shining hot around her neck. Anyway, so that is one of the first things that we want to do an official music video for. And I already have my old guy, and it's going to be actor Garrett Spitzer. And he's so fantastic. And right now he's acting in Sherlock. And I think he's the sleeping gatekeeper or something that lets someone buy it. Anyway, it's a stage production. So he's going to be the Lebowski, if you will, to my Bunny Lebowski. So I'm looking for casting Long Island, looking for a Bunny Lebowski for that music video.
Wonderful. The one thing that I found fascinating as I did my little bit of homework and listened to your music is the diversity in your music and in your voice. That just really kind of astounded me in a great way and showed me your versatility. So I got to ask you this. When you first started singing, when you first said, yeah, I can do this, when did that happen? At what age? And how did you find, quote, your voice in singing? I'm always curious about that.
How did you find your voice?
Yeah. Meaning you're a diverse singer. So is there a go-to, not a character, but a mode that you go to? And then how did you branch out to these different genres and really flex your vocal cords in those different areas? Good question, huh?
That's a good one. But I would say range of emotion is how I judge if I feel like I got my money's worth out of a record. So that's been true with Judy Collins. Mm-hmm. That's been true with when I've gone even as a kid, going to the library and getting Joan Baez and bringing it home. I know this is going to be something to really devour, emotionally. Okay. And that's how people feel or felt the very first time of hearing Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill. Mm-hmm. And so I think with the Shije record, which...
There we go.
And all the lyrics are inside the booklet. And so I think that is something that gives people the poetry and emotion and feeling. And it matters to me. When I get a record, I get my money's worth out of the songs and emotions when I see I have to read along. So with all that stuff. So I think finding other female artists, Melissa Etheridge, other female artists Stevie Nicks, that put their lyrics out there and let me read their poetry while they sang it to me. And I went, I'm feeling emotions. And then I just worked out what would my emotion be for that?
You know what it is? I was watching Steve Colbert and I saw a little snippet. He was talking to some professor. And Steve's question was about, how do we get the endorphins going that bring us joy and happiness, And out of the left field, this guy says, well, when the emotion of great music moves you, that increases the endorphins, the natural opioids in your body and bring you joy. And that's what I love. That's what I love about music and artists who, and not every artist does that, is when you're so transparent with your emotions and you're able to transfer that to the audience and then the audience brings that back to you. I think that's fascinating.
The energy interplay
Transfer. Yeah.
versus just the studio.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And then the ability to take what you've done live and get that feedback and now do it in a confined bubble, so to speak, in the studio. That's kind of interesting. How do you do that? How do you
Well,
is
I'm
it
more
inside you and just
comfortable.
comes out, or
Very much. I'm very much more comfortable in the studio because everything is a controlled variable.
okay, sure.
So sound quality, just all that. Whenever performing with the public, it's not a controlled variable.
Right,
And
right.
for all musicians on my level, well, even the Rolling Stones, performance is always in a place where alcohol is involved. So you just don't know what's going to happen. You might be having the best performance of your life and you could have someone that comes up on stage. So I love the studio because I know what's going to happen. I'm very at home in there. I really like my home studio and everything. So I started playing this Fender bass.
Oh, cool.
And it is a big, heavy, this is like a Winnebago. This thing is
That looks
so
like
heavy.
an old school Fender, right?
Yeah. But do you hear how heavy? So this thing is way heavier than my guitar. So I like playing it when I'm sitting down. So I just kind of have it here more. But being able to have all the instruments around me, I just think that I'm going to be one of those people that for all my old age, I'm going to have to like stay right around my instruments so I can just keep creating music because I love it. So I'm coming up with songs almost every day.
So at what point in your life did you realize that I am a songwriter or I can be a songwriter? When did the muse really hit you to develop a song?
This is funny.
Bring me back to that place.
Yeah. So I'm born into a girl group because I have two sisters. So I was going to just laugh when you said, when did I find my voice? It's like my parents would say, like, when are you three going to shut up? So we just were born singing and
oh, wow.
Learned harmony. The reason that my older sister, who's only 19 months older, the reason that we got into a children's choir that ended up being a famous children's choir and making albums called the Northern New Mexico Children's Choir. And it was run by Dr. Daniel Sass. He's amazing. And a harmony, a vocal arranger extraordinaire. And the person on the piano teaching us and traveling everywhere with us as his wife, or was his wife. And the reason that we got into that is because our neighbors got into that. And it was easiest for our parents who already had a much younger, a new baby, to have us carpool.
Yeah, right.
And
as convenience, right?
Yeah. And it was like $75 a month per kid. And we had lots and lots of rehearsals. And our dad was like, hey, it's cheaper than the babysitter for the two bigger kids. And
yeah,
so that's really how we ended up being in this children's choir. So then when I was 10, we bought a different house. And in the new house, there was an old out of tune upright piano and the, like crinkly looking varnish on it, like how if it sat in the sun for just way too long. Okay. And it had a player thing in it that you could hook up. And so they didn't want to move that piano and sit something like, in the sale price of the house, another $100 and you can keep that. And our dad's like, well, I guess I'll get a lesson. So my sister, Sonia, wrote a song, and I knew it was a song because she wrote this in lined paper and it was on that piano. And I found it before she came home from school, and she was very sensitive. And yes, this is what I'm telling you, Steve, my very first song was a stolen song.
Oh, you gave credit. So that's good.
She likes it now. But I just made up a tune to it. And so I had a tune, and she walked in the door, and there I was singing her poem to the wrong tune. And she was furious. This is 7th grade drama. That is mine. And it was all about her view in 7th grade of seeing that the world is seeing the world through rose-colored glasses. That's what it was called. Hold on. How did it go?
If you can remember. All right.
Remember, to be seventh grade means like 12 years old or 13.
Yep.
And if I stole the song and I was 11, right? We're only 19
Okay.
months apart.
Huh?
So imagine just being like 12 and she writes this song and it's so emotional, but she starts it, "Come here, little child." She's a little child. Okay.
Right.
Come here, little child. I have a story to tell about the world in all its glory. People say love is hearts and flowers, but it sure don't seem that way to me. Please take off your rose-colored glasses. Tell me, what do you see? What do you see, little child, hey, what do you see? Okay, that was enough. Thank you, man. You like my tune? Okay, so I made up that whole tune, and she's like, that's not how the poem goes. So the version of her poem never lasted. But, this whole thing. So people say that the sea is green, but it sure looks gray today. Please take off your rose-colored glasses. Tell me, what do you say? What do you say, little child? So anyway, cool.
Wow.
Cool. But
the fact that you remember that, I think, is the coolest thing right there.
Thanks. That's a big part of being a songwriter, is remembering the little snippets.
That's right. Because guess what? I have 10,000 snippets. Can I remember them? I'll have to dig them up in the phone. It's probably 3/4 of the audience listening to this podcast saying, yeah, I could do that.
Oh, yes.
But it's a muscle thing. It's a muscle thing that, in my opinion, that you cultivate. Mm-hmm. And as the muse strikes you, you act on it, and you take it where it's gonna take you, I guess.
Right.
You could say. So go ahead.
Anytime that you're riding in the car, listeners, especially Long Island, I know you all have cars. Anytime you're riding in the car, just free yourself and sing. Find something that you love to sing to, and just let yourself sing. That's Carrie Fisher called her car a traveling compartment of sound, and would play music really loud in there. And but enjoy that if you have a car, because in New York City, I don't have a car anymore.
Oh my God. And we're in traffic a lot, so there's a lot of creativity time potential that is there. Hey, you mentioned New Mexico, so
yes.
How did you get from New Mexico to New York City? How did that happen?
Well, I got a cool publishing deal that I thought was going to be lucrative in the late 90s from a neat company called the Royalty Network. And they're fabulous. I think they've discovered Jill Scott and some other people along the way, Swizz Beatz and people. Okay. So I came out here, and my youngest sister, I have the three. Mm-hmm. I got married and moved to Greenwich, Connecticut. Okay. And then I moved to the actual avenue in Greenwich, Connecticut, over a bar in a walk-up, a third-story walk-up, which was my practice for this fifth-floor walk-up. And in between, I actually lived in a fourth-floor walk-up, which was the highest floor of that building. My parents kind of wanted to just wait in the car. That's too far. My dad's like, oh, my knees,
I know exactly what you're talking about. My daughter, Faith, who just moved into a 4-story walk-up on 84th Street. Great neighborhood, Yorkville, and stuff like that. And I'm like, it's funny. She's got this dog, named Indiana Bones, who was born in Arizona. Indiana Bones. Yeah, she's a big punter. And the funny thing is, so when I go and visit, I take Indiana Bones out for a walk, and all the time, he can't tell what floor he's on, So she's on the 4th floor, and always on the 3rd floor, he's running down the hallway. And one day there was a lady happened to open her apartment. He goes running in like it's his own apartment. But I get my steps in when I visit my daughters. That's for sure. Hey, let's do this. Let's just take a quick break. There's so much to talk about. My head is buzzing here. And really want to talk about how you develop the muse, about your career, you got so much shit going on. Man, this is going to be a great trip. Hey, everybody, stick with us. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
The Long Island Sound is here to help you connect with local artists. Follow us on Instagram for the latest up-to-date podcast episodes and also to connect with your local artists and their upcoming shows.
Hey, everybody. We are back, and I'm having a blast on this evening with Shije.
Hello.
And there's so much going on. And I commented on the diversity of the different songs and genres that you sing. And I think that's it's really amazing. It really shows your vocal talent and how you explore things. But we'll get to that later on, because I want to explore how you found these things and found people to sing with you. I think it's really exciting. But you got so much going on. Tell me what you've got going on. But before we do that, everybody, look down, stop what you're doing, look in the description, and you're going to find Shije at SHIJE.com, correct?
Yes, please. And on
right.
Instagram,
Ooh.
It's Shije.com. So it's just that's
Same
so
thing.
easy, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
and we'll have those links in there as well, because, man, I tell you, these days, it's not like the old days. You really got to have that lure of different social media so people can find you and find something special. And that's what we're all about at the Long Island Sound. My mission is a mission of discovery, and I always refer it to as the wellspring of talent wherever I am, and I am always amazed. I really am. It's,
Good. So you're going to like these announcements, because
All right, go ahead.
Bandcamp Friday is where I'm ending the announcement week. Am I doing this the right way? So which version is Monday? So today being Monday, the day of our interview, and my first time meeting you online, and this is so nice. Nice to meet you and your audience. Hi, guys. So in New York City on Wednesday of this week, which is December 4, is the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree lighting, which is free and public. And remember how I said, get in the car and sing?
Right.
I love singing. I think everyone should be a singer. Everyone should sing every day. It's good for you.
Absolutely.
So get on out there. Get everybody you can and get to the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree lighting just to have a fun singing time.
Nice. Yeah.
It's free. It's public. Okay, then the very next day would be Thursday. And at midnight of Thursday begins Bandcamp Friday for 24 hours. And so any purchase that you make on Bandcamp, they don't take their cut. It goes direct to the artist for 24 hours. So that is the last Bandcamp Friday of this year.
Okay. I did not know that. That's good to know.
Mm-hmm. And that is December 6th. So just put in your calendar, save the date, and that means Thursday at midnight. And so I know that there are cool bands doing special merch, limited edition things.
Okay.
I personally don't have anything pressed to vinyl. That's very, very fancy. I'm not that fancy yet. So I do have,
We got merch.
Yeah. So this is you can get this anytime though. You don't have to wait for Bandcamp Friday. See how Shije was made into an ambigram. So it's the same upside down and backwards.
Come on.
Wild.
Nice.
Wild. So Robert Petrick is this famous ambigram logo design artist. And he can just almost do it with any word. It's just this amazing, weird, idiot savant gift that he has. And he made the logo for the band Angel. And I'll send you that because these will be images that I can send you and you'll just be like,
yeah, and I'll pop them up for sure.
Yeah. One he made where it's interlocking words that say love and hate. And you can see how it interlocks. When he has a gallery showing, go to it. Lower East Side usually.
Nice,
Robert
nice.
Petrick is the logo. Mick Rock, I used to run his gallery and sell rock star photos, which is fun. And now a rock star. Anyway, so.
For those who don't know Mick Rock, tell me a little bit about Mick Rock.
Mick Rock will use some of his most famous images here to show people. Because, of course, we're doing that educationally. He is famous for the Queen album cover where all of the four faces are looking up at the light.
Oh, yeah, in the black and white. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one of the most iconic Bowie pictures ever taken. And he's very famously friends with Kate Moss. So Moss's most famous pictures are taken by him. And so he was the guy at every after party for 40 years. And so there are so many candid pictures of like Blondie and just on and on. So the whole gallery was just filled with, all that. It was very fun. And people come in and buy that stuff and the limited editions and signed stuff. And
oh, nice. Oh,
yeah.
And it said the gallery is still about?
Nope, because it was a limited show and it was
like a pop-up type of thing?
Yeah. And I'm available to do that for this holiday season for any artist interested in having me do that in Manhattan. So, yes.
So, as I reminisce as an old man here with white hair now, if I had my druthers to do it all over again, I would be in Manhattan or Brooklyn, because it's the center of the world, really is.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about when you came from New Mexico. Was it a big culture change for you? Did you fit right in? I mean, it's really the mecca of artistry, and you can rub elbows with a lot of fantastic people. How was that for you?
True. Well, okay, so there's an intermittent stage there where when my parents got divorced, my mom got remarried to a guy that worked for the Department of Energy, and he moved us to Las Vegas, Nevada.
Okay.
That makes a lot of sense now when you hear my album, right? Because they're like, oh, musical theater. I bet you've worked in the showrooms. I bet you've worked. And I thought something hilarious. Ready for this?
Yeah.
I thought of this today, and I had to record it into my phone so I wouldn't forget because it's that funny. What if I could get Tom Jones on the phone or on Zoom, which I don't think I can, but if I could, if Tom Jones and I would get in an argument with each other acting about, no, my horn section's better. No, mine's better. No, mine's better. No, mine. That'd be hilarious because we both know I used Tom Jones' horn section.
Really?
My whole album. Yes. Because I was in Las Vegas. Have you ever had these? It's water.
A liquid death? I have not. I've heard about it.
So these are at the rock shows and stuff. And I was like, wow, what are people having? Is that like some kind of really strong drink? And they're like, no, they get rockers to buy this because otherwise.
Oh, it smells.
Yeah.
Right. It makes it cool. Yeah.
So most artists that play in Las Vegas just go through for one night. For example, Lenny Kravitz, Robert Cray, and people that you would see at the Hard Rock Hotel, the Joint stage, they're just there that one night. But Tom Jones and Cher have 2-week-long runs for whole 2 weeks on a stage. And Tom Jones is so popular and so hardworking, just like 300 nights a year, Tom Jones working. So when he was there for those 14 days, he wasn't just there he would then 6 months later be there for 14 days. This is how I was able to use his band in the studio in Las Vegas for the whole 2 weeks during the day. And then they go work on the stage. Yeah. And then I get to work with those tracks and practice and the horns get to practice for 6 months until we see each other again. And then we wow each other and Darren Kramer, hats off. Darren Kramer is the trombone player from the University of Miami that put together the horns for DYG.
Oh, so, amazing. Yeah. There's something about a horn section that can really fill it out. And I was thinking about the Tower of Power. Little Feat. Little Feat is a band that I love. I saw them in Westbury Music Theater, which is in the round, and the Jukes, Asbury Jukes. Anyway, they were on a double bill together, and the Tower of Power backed them up. And it was the coolest thing. It was just really just amazing. You don't hear enough horns in music today. It's
and with horns, it makes everything a party. So
right.
You gotta have a horn section.
Yep. It brings me right to like New Orleans music. The horns that are it's a party. A funeral's a party. Everything's a party when it comes to horns. So okay, so now you're in Vegas. What so
Yeah. I
what was
ended
your,
up,
what were you hanging out in Vegas? What'd you do in Vegas?
our parents had joint custody. And
Okay.
so we actually, this has been proven to not be a great thing to do to kids, but back then we were like the first experiment ping pong. So we would have one school year, one place, and one the next,
Wow.
a whole different school year. So, but because one was on top of a mountain, Los Alamos, New Mexico, because my dad worked at the lab, and
Ooh.
my mom was a publicist in Las Vegas and had the new husband. So the nice thing is that my two friend groups stayed the same.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, 12th grade ended up being in Las Vegas. So my diploma is from a Las Vegas high school. And I was still considered, of course, a in-state student for both states. So I could choose between schools, that I guess it matters, like parents paying into the tax base wherever it is. So you can be considered resident tuition.
Right.
And
Right,
I chose New Mexico State University in Las Cruces.
Okay.
And that's a famous for being an engineering school. And my sister, the one 19 months older than me that I mentioned, was going there and is very accomplished mechanical engineer now, retired from the U.S. Air Force. Fancy dancy. Worked on airplanes, aerodynamics and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, and now maybe she can start singing again with me because she really let me down on the girl group with this engineering thing.
Yeah, I know. That's such bullshit, right? Don't get me started with engineers. They can talk about the most intricate stuff. I have an engineer who lives next to me. Most intricate stuff that I just like,
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, no, that's great how you did that.
Yeah, right.
So all right, so now you come into New York. So what brought you?
But no, after that,
Okay.
California.
Oh man, okay.
Yeah. So I had to go make my way in LA and learn all about that stuff. And by then it was about 1997. So the music industry had not quite imploded.
Right.
So while I was just very confused and thought that I should go to them and shop my album, even though I owned all my masters and did everything myself,
Wow.
and they don't have anything to offer me at all, except for writing on my coattails and like signing things onto my room service bill. No, thank you.
Right.
So, I didn't know that. So I just kept on knocking on doors and going to lunches and having people tell me like, wow, this is great. Oh, it won awards. Got,
what's the title of that album?
Shije. Just like this.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got
so
it.
easy.
Or,
so a
yeah,
self-titled debut album. I was like, oh, just like, I don't know who else, Mariah Carey or someone, Joan.
Right.
So I just got my foot in the door and got known by industry people right at a time when all of the industry people that we know lost their jobs.
Right.
So they were like, how far along are you with this album? Do you have a tour plan? Can we join your team and like manage something? Can you offer us a salary? And I was like, I came here because I'm asking you for a record deal. I thought this would be like the Muppet
and
movie.
Everything changed.
Yeah. I was like, this is the part in the Muppet movie where you're supposed to say, send in the rich and famous contract, please.
Right.
I was like, I did all the work. And they're like, no, we don't have the acquisition budget for new acts at this time. And, all this stuff. And it was at the time of when they were acquiring just a totally different genre than anything I do. And as you noticed, I have such a wide diversity.
Right.
That they were like streamlining to clear channel everything. And they're like, what channel do you even see yourself on?
Right. Yeah. What category do we put you in? Right.
I know. And so now here we are in a world where people buy a song at a time. They hear it and they like it. They Shazam it and they get that one. So it's.
So you were right. You were right at that point where the whole industry changed.
Oh, yeah.
Overnight.
Yeah.
Which I think we're in a very difficult time because of that. You got the mega corporations, which this is being broadcast on, saying, oh, be a creator and we'll throw you a quarter of a penny if you have 10,000 people who like it.
Right.
And it's like a type of slavery, unfortunately. And that's why we pitch merch and everything else in order to get by and gig and do live shows. So that's my mantra is this, you know what? Support live music, support people who go out and entertain us live.
Yeah.
Because you have to. It's just the right thing to do, and you'll be enriched by it as well. You know, it's just that's my soapbox for that aspect of things.
And Bandcamp Friday is this Friday. And if you go to Bandcamp, I'm right there. Shije, spelled like that, Shije. So I started an affirmation audiobook, and I don't have it out yet, but I made up some music for it in the background. So it's like,
you're awesome.
Yeah. So the affirmation book is called Right On, Rock On.
Okay.
Yeah. You are enough. You have always been enough. Right on. Rock on. So it just keeps going, affirmations like that. Nice and slow, and it's about 6 minutes long. And
wow, I love that. I love it. You're thinking outside the box, so to speak, you know, as far as one, you've got a very tonal, nice tone to your voice that would be soothing.
Oh, thanks.
For me to
this
listen to.
Started from testing a new microphone. I was like, hey, this sounds like might be a cool thing for a meditation.
Right. Oh, that's amazing. Hey, during the break, we're talking about two guys that you had met to do like a barbershop.
Yeah, to do up
style.
Guys.
Yeah, so tell me about that, and then we get a surprise for our audience when you're towards the end of that story of how that all came together. I found it so exciting.
The senior center?
Yeah. Tell us how it all came together, and then when we wrap that part up, we're going to go to the video you shared with me.
Okay. So I would sing with my guitar in Washington Square Park when I first got here. And I don't know if in Long Island, if everybody knows about the Giuliani years. Does everybody know that?
Well,
yes,
yeah,
right?
the glory years before he went nuts. Those years?
He changed the cabaret laws where if people were dancing.
I didn't know this. Go ahead.
Okay, so inside the back fence, for example, on Bleecker Street, where remember it had peanut shells all over the floor and really nice little vibe, and always a solo guitarist singer on stage. And that was a fun little gig. So and I didn't know why the bouncer was such a heavy about like, no dancing, don't get off the bar stool. You got to hold perfectly still. So if you were dancing in there and they don't have a tavern license or whatever, the cabaret.
Yeah. Right.
So the bar would get a $500 fine. So if you just had 3 and decided you're just going to shake a tail feather, so then you're all of a sudden this persona non grata, and you get kicked out of a bar. I never heard of a girl dancing getting kicked out of a bar. That's what bars want. Okay, so the Giuliani years were also very difficult for street performers, known as buskers.
Yep.
So if you drew more than 10 or 12 people, the police could break it up and call it a non-permitted event. In fact, I've seen them break up a wedding at Battery Park City because the people didn't have a permit and had more than 12 people gathered.
Oh my God. It's like being a Nazi. Oh my God.
So this was something where musicians would lose amps, instruments, they would
confiscate them. Yeah.
It wouldn't be worth it. So, so it was just such a different climate than getting out there and playing music, where now those cabaret and tavern laws are lifted and you see everybody getting out and dancing more.
Right.
We have fewer live music places at this time, and we need to really kick that into high gear and support everybody that's out there performing live. And Val Kinsler, follow her on Facebook. She's so great. She started a Women Who Rock group on Facebook too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'll find the right links, but she's a rocker, and
got to have her on the podcast. Tell her to come on.
You've got to.
It's funny the whole busking. Like even now, it's still highly regulated. If you're going to play in Penn Station, you have to audition in order to get permitted to busking. I can understand it, but there's such unintended consequences of pushing art down.
I agree.
Who's to say that? Who are you to tell me what art is and what I'm going to enjoy? It's not about that. It's about, we know what it's about. It's the almighty dollar, unfortunately. So you're out busking in Washington Square Park. Very famous.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Tell us about
And
the guys. Yeah.
yeah, so the smell of very stinky skunk walked upon me, and in a large cloud of smoke, a man who looks like a wizard, who is terribly out of time with the tambourine. His name is Harvey Osgood,
Okay.
and he has declared himself the ambassador of the whole park, and is de facto. And because artists who are drawing more than 12 people are actually putting themselves in danger of losing their guitars and such,
Wow.
as I told you, he
Yeah.
says, you should go to where my friends eat lunch over here at Greenwich House Senior Center. And on Wednesdays, there's a guitar circle, and they always want guest artists, and they still do. So artists who are listening to this, go find out if there's a time where you could go share your art, or especially help seniors who are learning their art or want to show their art. So being part of the circle means playing one and then being an attentive listener for the next person.
Oh, great.
And
Great.
if you're in good enough shape, it means looking, if there's a senior that needs a guitar tuned, you know what I mean? Just kind of
Step up.
looking at, yeah. So the
Yeah.
oldest person I've ever sung for there, Howard, 109 years old.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So anyway,
you're-
so that's what happened. So I went in there and I played a song, and they said, come back next week. And I said, okay, I will. I'll learn some Joan Baez. And a lady named Sue Ellen said, I love Joan Baez. And I said, Jessie is the saddest song that's ever been written, I think. And she said, oh, I think so too, or something. And from that moment on, every time I saw her in the park, she would start playing Jessie.
Wow.
Jessie,
Wow.
there's a hole in the bedroom. The light is on it. You know, Joan Baez, when she was 19, sings this sad song, and I'm leaving the light on for you. That, you know what I mean?
Yep.
It's a lonely song. Jessie, please come home. So, I mean, you don't know all about it, but in the great style of confessional poetry, you know there's some great story going.
Right,
Which you
right.
want to be. You must interview Amy Madden. Oh, I
Okay.
love her so much. Yes. So Amy Madden is another singer-songwriter that's right here around town.
Okay.
And she plays bass phenomenally well. And recently, I learned that she wrote a couple albums of songs on guitar for herself. And she's like, well, I just like playing bass in other people's bands now. I'm not really doing gigs like that anymore. You've got to just interview her, because the songs are like Tori Amos depth.
Okay. Sure. Yep.
Okay, good. Okay.
Nice. All
Yeah.
right. Tell me about the two guys, though, who are going to be in the video.
The two, for Fool's Gold?
You told me about two gentlemen who passed on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about those guys.
So we made a list of songs and recorded a whole bunch of stuff. That Neil Young song. Anyway, so I'll pick up where we left off when I
Okay.
show you the video of us going over which songs we're going to do. So even though they have passed on, that song list remains, and I will fill out the harmonies myself, or I'll find some doo-wop people. There are some fabulous singers in Long Island, and I know it. So you're probably watching this right now and thinking, I should call her and join her group. Yes, you should. And the Amy Winehouse version of Our Day Will Come, where she has,
okay. Yep.
she's so fabulous. So her backup singers are all guys. And that song, that version, it's very beautiful. And it did not get to fly free before she passed. So it was
Oh, wow.
probably going to be the hit of the summer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel like it deserves a spin. I'm kind of using her arrangement.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah.
I'll share offline with you some people that come to mind that I think would
Cool.
be great at it. So I won't put them on the spot this time, but
Okay.
I'll send them to you, and we'll explore that. So remind me the name of the two guys. Let's go and we'll introduce that surprise video as we take
Okay.
a break.
Danny Rivera and Skip Mitchell. And they're from the group The Park Project.
All right, everybody. Check out this special video. I'll be right back. Stick with us. Be well.
There should be more female singers. And I think that females overall should be more represented in music, especially in the blues genre.
Mm-hmm.
But one night on a Monday, girl singers unite, please. One night there were only 2 female singers in the whole night. So it was all guys on guitars and guy drummers. So there's this thing, back to what I said, follow Val Kinsler, Kinzler on Facebook.
Yep, and we'll have it in the description. Yep. We'll put that link in for sure.
She put together the NYC Women Who Rock group on Facebook and really promotes girl power gigs that are going on. I hashtag things girl power all the time. So yeah, it's really important to let people know that that's going on, especially Rockwood has just closed last month.
Yep, I heard about it.
Surprised everyone, very sudden. So when we have a venue that has live music, we've got to support.
Yeah, I agree. It's just, it's amazing. I'm going to throw a little pitch in for someone who's been on my show, great blues singer, Kelly, Kelli Baker. And she is a phenomenal blues singer, and she's got all these accolades down in Memphis and from Huntington, originally out west, from Arizona originally, as it came out here as a young girl. And her star is just rising really quick. So, I did a pitch for you, Kelly. So anyway.
Very nice.
It's all about connections. It's all about making connections for sure. Yep.
So on email, I think I had joked with you that we should conference call in Christine Tambakis.
Okay. Yeah.
So I forgot to ever let her know I was going to do that, but we're going to spell her name too, because she's just gotten off the road being on tour with, what is his name? Matt Schoen? The blues guy that wins all the awards from London. Anyway.
Okay.
So she was the featured singer, and I know why she blew my mind like Beth Hart. It's because I saw them on the Iridium stage.
Okay,
and the last artist that I saw there was Beth Hart with Joe Bonamassa.
Oh, wow. Wow. I know who you talk. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So for her to be this featured singer, and it just blew the roof off. She's so little and big voice. It was so great. And she's back, and she's in Westchester, and she's just doing Fridays and Saturdays at restaurants and cool places. So to catch one of her gigs, follow on Facebook where she's going to be till she's back out on tour. Because right now we can see a world-class blues act, right in the neighborhood.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. What's nice is you don't categorize yourself. I mean, you go from country to blues to rock, right? With do you have a favorite genre? Is that a fair question?
Wow. No, I like it all because I love musical theater.
Okay.
So I think I like trying on different characters with the voices. But I know that I'm very good at the blues. That's so. And I know that the stuff that makes people go, wow, like, I know that the stuff that makes people go, wow, it's so easy for me that I just
nice.
Can do it in my sleep. So there's that. And I played at Arlene's Grocery. And my original set.
Great sound engineer there, by the way.
Howard is awesome.
Yeah.
And the lighting, they've changed out all that really hot lighting, and it's all nice LED lights like all the people.
Great.
Yeah. So it's nice and cool. And they changed all the stage velvet, and it's all fresh, and it's a really nice place to film for that reason. So still back to trying to figure out how I can get my music videos done all around here or Long Island or the Westchester area type of thing.
Metro New York, yeah. So you've got some things coming out in January. Tell us what's happening in the near future, if you're ready to tell us about it.
Yep. Well, the person that's going to be surprised is my mom, because I'm going to get this done by Mother's Day, and we're starting it in January. It's going to be an EP, so 6 or 7 songs.
Okay.
So just shorter. And that segues into what you asked about what would I tell other artists.
Yes, please.
Okay, so I have an Apple Music artist profile.
Okay.
And I think just looking at the data, it's smart to have that because about 90% of my sales are coming from Apple users.
Okay.
So that's something just handy. So having it on Apple Music is really important. And they have a lot of platform where if I was a little bit more hip or had a team who helped me know how to do this, there's
Right.
like how to give your fans a free video download, how to, even to do it time. So on the first of every month, they get something cool and free. And I totally would do that because it reminds them to look at what you're selling.
Right. You got to keep touching the wheel. And that's why, I've asked other artists about that. There's some artists that just are tied in. Hey, I put out an album. But there are other artists, it seems to be younger artists are saying, no, I want to put out 3 to 5 songs. I want to put out an EP. One, it's more economical for them to do as far as studio time and what have you. And you're feeding the monkey, so to speak, sorry,
in
audience.
A smaller interval.
Yeah, to keep the attention going, because we're attention deficit as an audience. So if I come out with something every couple of months, in theory, that's the thing, So now an artist, I'm going to give you a scenario. A young female artist comes up to you. You just heard her sing. You're like, wow, she's got it. She looks like she's a hard worker. And she asks you, hey, what do I need? What are the 3 things that I should focus on in order to get some modicum of success? What would you say?
Consistency, so that their performance is the same every time. So she can really, rehearsal is there's no replacement for rehearsal. So getting good and confident with your instrument so that you know what to expect every time. What else? Deciding what level that you want to be in this.
Okay.
Let's cut to Pat Benatar singing Paying the Cost to Be the Boss. B.B. King blues song. Do you want to be the boss lady like me? Do you want to do the hiring and firing?
Okay.
Do you want to just be in somebody else's band? Is it easier to be a backup singer? Is your thing that you love dance? Is dance the thing? Because you could have DJ tracks and just have a microphone and have a blast being Kylie Minogue. So figure out what is it about this that's moving to me? Is it that I'm moving audiences with my own emotions? Do I need to move them with my emotions? Or if I move them with Tori Amos's emotions, is it just that I love moving the audience? Because I know when I sing Shirley Horn's Here's to Life, I look for the audience at that reveal of for all that life gives us and takes away. And I see them go, I look for the emotion. I'm addicted to making them feel.
To move
If
them,
I get people to cry, I feel that they're feeling what I wanted them to. So the Barbara Streisand does it the same way. And Frank Sinatra was said to not be a singer, but he delivered the song.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think to summarize, I've looked at different acts. They said, oh, they're a singer or they're an entertainer. For me, I can only speak for myself. When you invite me into your living room and you help pull out the emotion of something that I may not have been able to articulate at a particular time or a memory, and you pull that out of me, that's the connection that I look for in a live performance. That just makes it all beautiful.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be words either. Sometimes it can be tempo or a feel or just a chord change. And I'll give you an example.
Yeah, please.
Something that makes me feel very triumphant and happy and the accomplishment. The first chords of Josie Comes Home. Okay.
Yep.
So it doesn't have to be even any of the lyrics. That should be my ringtone on my phone. That's just, So everybody has something like that, it gives you a mood.
Yep.
The beginning chords of Jane Says.
Yeah. Yep.
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 So Anyway, what other questions do you have for me?
You know what? I'm kind of overflowing here. I'm kind of flabbergasted because you've delivered so much to us.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I know
And
why
what-
I brought up Arlene's, because I had a
Yeah.
gig there. Yes. Okay. I got quite a reaction when I said, after Fool's Gold, which is a
Right.
blues song that I sang for you earlier, I said, you like that? You like the blues? I thought this was a rock and roll club, but you like the blues. What if I hosted a blues night? And they all went, yeah. So I never put
What?
it together after I got all that cheering. But I think this is something with Val and all the ladies who rock. I should get a blues night of women.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That would
Yeah.
that would be great. I think there's a market for that for sure. And
All
there's
right.
definitely an audience for that. Shije, it was really amazing. I'm so happy
Cute.
that you agreed to be on the podcast. Thank Christine Santelli for connecting us. There you are, close up.
There I am. There I am.
And we'll remind everybody to find all the links to everybody we spoke about in the description and see her live. And I can't wait
Yeah.
to see you in person and see you live. And,
Right on. Rock on. Yeah.
all right, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shije. It's so good to have you. And everybody,
Thank you. Oh, I printed this thing for y'all.
oh yeah, put that up. Well, we'll get a real graphic
Dun,
up.
dun, dun, dun.
Everyone's going to think it's closing for the night.
All right. Well, thank you so much. It was so nice to meet you, and rock on, Long Island.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. Take care. Thank you for joining us today. I appreciate the time you spent with us. Please subscribe and comment and visit us at gigdestiny.com. Till next time, be generous with your joy, keep your spirits high, and let the music take you on a journey. Be well. Peace.